Wakurugenzi Moment. Wadau. Nafurahi kuwaona. Amuna hata habari. I am so happy to see you guys because I come bearing good news, man. Unajua bana sisi, you know how we do. Number one, there's something I told you guys a couple of weeks ago about some nomination I got kwa cinema flani, Christmas Love, you remember? Yes, all the way in Nigeria, Bayelsa Film Festival. Some even better news, guys. I realized over the last couple of weeks, kuna kitu very important that we used to do zamani, but we are not doing. And by we, I'm not see Mimi, like Sisi as a community. You remember those days when, like, just men used to sit down and just talk, regardless of the age and whatnot. Like, two different generations wanakaa chini, wanapiga story, wanasaidiana vitu hapa na pale. What happened to that? Hiyo kitu it happens siku hizi. Mbona? Why? And it's for that reason that we are here tonight. Leo maze nataka tukuwe na conversation na one. This gentleman, guys, I met him, I think, less than 3 weeks ago. And the wisdom this guy oozes, bana, anafaa apatiwe faculty yake pale University of Nairobi, quick fast. Sababu watu hawajui ni nini wanafanya hapa nje. This guy is amazing. Sat with him a couple of times, learned so much from him, both kwa industry yake and just, you know, in life in general. And I figured, yo, if I'm to do this, I need to do it right. Let me do it with the person who I think will be of benefit both for me and for my people at large. Without further ado, that being said, allow me to...
Accessible. I'm just another guy
Kweli?
chasing his dream. That's
nice.
all. Yeah.
Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah.
How's your day like? What's your typical day like?
Well, typical day.
Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a land guy, so I'm always somewhere in a shamba looking for opportunities. So
yes.
Usually I'm up by latest 5:30, 6. If I'm not leaving town.
Yeah.
Take the kids to school, do the school run.
Yeah.
Kawaida, and then head to the office. Do desk work. You know, it's a pretty boring, boring and predictable life. But I love what I do. So, you know, if I'm not here in the office, I'm in some corner of Kenya scouting for land. For land. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Or, you know, going to meet a surveyor, a contractor, the architects. Yeah. It's always related to what my passion and calling is.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
So these school runs, you do them every day?
Yes. Well, if I'm in town, I'm the one who does the school runs.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
because
man.
Most people are consumed by what they do. They forget the important things. Family being one of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you where I got that from. Yeah. I happen to have been invited to let them go to school with anyone else but him. He would always drive them to school every day, no matter what was going on in his head. Mr. Karina is a busy guy, as you can imagine. You know, so if you don't know who Mr. Bob Karina is, go ask Uncle Google. And she said that commitment from him created such a strong bond between herself and I think her siblings and him. Yeah. And you can see it today when you see them interact.
Correct.
And something about that really impressed me, man. I was like, when my kids are, you know, 20s, 30s, 40s, can you imagine feeling that when your children say that about you?
Correct.
So I like to do it because, you know, if I'm out of town, I go a whole day, I don't see them, merudi nyumbani wamelala. So as long as I'm here, school run in the morning, I get to spend a few minutes with them and, you know, speak into their lives and bless them. Correct. And it's a joy, man. It's a privilege.
Love it, man. I think those are some of the things that we need to unlearn. The way some of these things were instilled in us, especially the male figure of the community. I remember there was a saying where I come from that a man was never to be seen in the house unafanya nini kwa nyumba ukicheza na watoto?
Your idol, yeah.
Utoke saa 9 asubuhi kama mchawi na urudi saa 6 usiku kama mwizi. Like those are the things that we need to unlearn, because yeah, you're out there providing for this family, but at the end of the day you have no relationship with them. So when your sunset years come, you're just there chilling by yourself.
Yeah, like, what's the point, man? It
doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so it's something I enjoy actively. So
I feel like all of them are like that.
It's a bit schizophrenic.
Yeah, I know.
One day she's 9. The next day she challenges me as if she's a 25-year-old.
Correct.
And you have no answer.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, she has made sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love my daughter in ways I can't describe. You know what that feels like. You know, friends ask me all the time, what's it like having kids?
Yeah.
Especially earlier on when we started having kids, and I tell them there's no way to describe. You just have to get in there,
experience it,
and especially when your firstborn is a daughter.
Correct.
That's us. Yeah, your protective instincts kick in. You discover things about your softness you had no idea existed. Because she has you wrapped around her little finger.
Correct.
Things I will do for her, I will be very difficult for anyone else to convince me to do.
Very true.
Even her own mom. So it's a very interesting journey. Being a father to a daughter.
I totally understand you, man. Mine is turning 13 in January. So she's no longer a girl. Now the conversations have changed. Now there are boys she likes. But that's where...
Guys in the office recently, how my first, Chile I was super in love with.
That story jazzed me to death.
I knew I was going to marry this chick. Then the dad froze me from going to see her. Because he believed I had evil intentions for his daughter. I mean, it was so bad, I was told there'd be government officials at the airport to arrest me.
Oh, Lord.
Both here and in SA. And his threats were not empty, because his relative was a PA to the Kenyan ambassador in South Africa at the time. So he had the means to make it happen. But I used to wonder, man, this gentleman, what does he have against me, man? I've never done anything.
Now you understand.
Now I'm like, wait. I feel him. Kamisa, I don't. Anyone who's a father to a daughter, understands exactly what that's like.
Correct. How old were you when you started a family?
I believe I was 35.
35
when she was born.
Do you think the age at which you start a family determines how you're going to raise them? Personally, I got my baby when I was 25.
You started earlier?
Actually, I was 23.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I wish I started at 23.
Oh, really?
Honestly, I do. I wish I did. Because I see you and your daughter. And the way you interact. And I'm thinking in 10 years, she's 23.
Yes.
You'll be...
in 10 years, I'll be 46.
I mean...
What?
She was 90, you was 97 or something, 98. So she had him very young in her teens. And now they look like they've grown old together. I mean, there's something beautiful about that.
Okay.
So I wish I started at 23 like you.
Oh, for real?
I do, yeah.
Okay, there's that, but I don't know. I feel like when you start a little too young, there's just a quality of life that they don't get to have. For me, that was it.
Really?
Oh, yeah, man. At 23, you're still struggling with diapers, you guy. At 35, you have everything figured out, man. Like, such things. Oh, really?
That's a misconception.
Oh, God.
No, man. We didn't have everything figured out.
Oh, really?
At least I didn't. I can tell you I was in a much better position to do something as a father at 35 than I was at 23.
Yes.
Because at 23, I was dropping out of college in the US, violating visa requirements, and I was in no shape to be a provider of any kind.
True.
But even at 35, there's things you're you're still sorting out.
Man, it's funny that at that particular time I was out. I said on my Instagram post, if this is for anyone who's a man, anyone who is related to a man, anyone who is married to a man, and anyone who is raising a man. So this is a conversation for all of you. The last couple of weeks, a lot has been happening. So if you've been following my channel, there's a gentleman who called me right as he was about to commit suicide. This gentleman was 25. Yes. You remember that story?
Yeah.
This gentleman was 25. And at that particular time, he felt as if he had no use in this world. And I totally understand him. But I don't know, I think we need to just pound it in these guys that whatever is troubling you now might be very irrelevant 5-10 years from now. 2010, when I was getting my baby, that diaper, and you know, us guys we never bought diapers like a whole packet. Yeah. They used to chomoa, like a diaper was like 10 bob. Yes. Was it 10 bob or 15 bob? I can't remember. Okay. You could buy like a diaper, a single one like this. Okay. And it got to the point where even those single ones were a problem. And at some point I felt like, oh my God, I don't know what I got myself into. But I guess, man, I just had the grit and I pushed forward. Yeah. Unfortunately, most people do not have that grit. Yeah. I'm sure you, at some point, you went through it. You might not have been 25, but at some point, you were in the thick of it.
In terms of having kids?
No. In terms of just life in general, finances.
Yeah. What I felt was actual clinical depression.
You were depressed?
I was. I mean, I didn't know what to call it then. Because I reflect about that period a lot. Yeah. You know, I was in Campo. My folks sent me to Campo in the US. Yeah. School fees became difficult because of financial hardship. Yeah. Home. Yeah. I had to drop out of Campo. Yeah. I'm in a foreign country. I can't work legally. I have no means to make a decent enough income. Even paying rent at some point became difficult. I couldn't pay utilities, light bill. You know, in the US in the winter it can be punishingly cold. And I remember one winter I had two roommates. They both traveled to their homes. Me, I couldn't travel. I was watched there. And everyone was supposed to send their contribution of the rent and elec and maji. For whatever reason, they didn't send theirs. So even my small contribution couldn't pay the full bill. And I lived in that house without power. And I had to keep myself warm using the oven. Wow. Because the oven used to be powered by gas, natural gas.
And that was there?
That was there. Thankfully, it was still on. So I would turn the oven to high heat, open the door, grab a stool, and just sit by the oven, like I'm at, you know, and heat myself. Otherwise, it would have been bad. So, you know, I reflect.
You need to find an escape.
So I leaned heavily on that. I would pray a lot. And also, I was dating this chick who was in Campo with me. And she was so supportive. She did whatever she could to help me understand that I wasn't alone. That, you know, she was there for me, and that, I have to say, is like half of the reason I survived that period of time. So it's important you surround yourself with people who are for real. People who are not in your life because they think they can get something from you. Because I had nothing to offer, man. She should have been dating someone else who had their life together, but she didn't. She stuck with me.
Nice.
And that dynamic gave me a lot of comfort. See, it helped me maintain my dignity and understand that I had value to someone. That's very important. It's also during that period of time that I exed all my male relationships.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because none of them wanted to get involved in my life in that situation.
Yeah.
They were busy doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They were more comfortable than I was. No one wanted to help find solutions even.
Yeah.
You know, if you have real friends, you should be able to go say, hey man, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas? Can you help me do this?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about asking for
yeah.
Thank you God,
Still
you
here.
brought me out of that, and I'm never going back.
Very
so
true.
the trauma is real.
Yeah.
But I think you and I are fortunate in that regard that we didn't get to a place of hopelessness that drives people to want to end their lives.
And the truth of the matter is, there will always be a solution.
Yes,
it will always be there.
So there's a guy I used to listen to a lot. He said something, I held on to it. He said, it is never, or things are never as bad as they seem at first.
Nice.
And I always remember that. When something negative happens, a situation, a problem, I remind myself, fine, it feels horrible right now, but it's not as bad as it feels.
Very true.
Yeah.
For me, one of my key learnings during that time was the fact that for most of us, when you're in such situations, you want everything around you to change for the better. So you want everything around you to change, but you yourself, you're not willing to change. You have to be willing to change for there to be a difference in your life. Yes. And I realized that a couple of months later. So I had to change a lot of things, which is exactly what you did. You had to X a few people, you know. You have to change. You can't just be there and expect things to, no. Yeah. So that's what I did. Came also to discover that my relationship with money wasn't the best.
Mine was non-existent.
Oh, yes, it was non-existent.
Budgeting, zero.
Nothing. How old were you when you...
Zero. Yeah.
Again, upbringing, I don't know. I was telling some people over the weekend, Safaricom was launching something this weekend, an M-Pesa app for kids.
That,
Oh, you did, yeah?
Yeah.
And I was
so
telling
you guys
them,
dancing on stage.
Yes, we won. But I mean, if you have me on your team, you're in good hands. And I was telling guys, when money for us was contraband. Like, if you were found with money, the first thing, kwanza, was makofi.
Really?
Yeah, what are you doing with money? You're not working, so when mwizi. That was the... and it's wrong. It's wrong. So we grew up thinking about money as a very negative thing.
Right.
Yeah, but we're changing that. So that period for me taught me a bit about money, but I came to learn a bit more about money during COVID. Yeah, that's when I went through a certain class. Yeah, and I discovered money is useful when it is doing something. If you have money just sitting around, I don't think that's useful.
Yes.
I don't know if you agree with that.
1,000,000%.
Correct.
Money is a slave that should never be allowed to rest.
Correct.
Ever.
Yes.
You work him until he gives birth. Then you put his children back to work with him. They give birth to the grandchildren. You put them all back to work.
Cycle continues.
No rest.
But those are the things I was learning during COVID. Yeah. And one of the things that now we're doing is this, 10%? Yeah. If you have guys giving you more than 11, 12, chunguza.
It's rare, It's rare.
It's rare.
There's a few options, but it's rare.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
So I'm at a point where I'm starting to feel like maybe one of the very few places you can have your money, you know, multiply properly is probably real estate. To be really honest, I don't know any other venture that multiplies money like the way real estate does.
Yeah?
Correct me if I'm wrong. You're in the business, you know.
Yeah, there's quite a number. But I think in that case, you have to distinguish between active growth or multiplication and passive.
Explain that.
There's a difference.
Explain
so active means you have to be involved in multiplying the value.
Yeah.
Passive means
it's just
you've invested in something, an asset that's working. Yeah. We call it sweating your assets. It's a slave. You put them to work. You sweat that money.
Correct.
Then as it produces an income, we call that passive, because it has nothing to do with you getting up in the morning to. So rental income.
Oh, that's a good example.
Money market is one of those. The only question is how much is it sweating?
Yep.
Versus the inflation rates. I always tell my customers, think long term. If this is money you're not going to need for the next 5-10 years,
correct.
Sour. If it is, you can't put it in land. You know?
Makes sense.
Put it in something that's earning. As opposed to land that's not producing. Now, if you're going to farm, that becomes active. And that's different. So I think people just need to understand what the differences are and pick the one that works for you.
That works for them. I think for most guys, because they already have a day job, they want something in which they can put their money and have it just reproduce passively.
Yes.
That's what most people want.
I can tell you this, man. 1989.
Yes.
My mom bought a piece of land in Syokimau.
Yeah.
It was 5 acres.
Yeah.
We went to see it.
Yeah.
She made Dad drive us all on a Sunday of all days to go
all the way
look
to
at
Syokimau.
Shamba. I remember there was nothing but thorn trees and bushes and wildlife.
Bundus.
Over here, if you told me I was in Masai Mara, there's no difference.
Yes.
My dad was like, there's nothing here.
Correct. Donholm was Bundus, so you can imagine Syokimau.
She bought the thing secretly.
Yeah.
I think she told me she paid, I think it was 50K per acre for the 5 acres.
Yeah.
Today, a quarter acre is going for 8 million.
What?
Yeah, between 7 and 8 million.
She bought it at 50K for 5 acres.
Per acre.
Oh,
per acre
per acre
so that's 250K for 5 acres.
And now a quarter goes for 5M.
A quarter goes for 7 to 8.
That there are questions that are coming. 5 minutes break. We're going on a break. Oh, really? Break? Our internet is an issue. Okay, so we'll be back in 5 minutes. We have goodies. We have tickets to give away. What we are live recording next week, 11th, will be at Nairobi Cinema. I have some 5 tickets to give away, so stay with us. I'll see you. See you in 5.